Hey, what's up? I'm X, and welcome back to another installment of the 4 Idiots series, the series where I teach you how to do things in RuneScape quickly and as efficiently as possible. We've got sort of a big one today, so we might be a little bit more long-winded than normal. Today I'm going to give you all of the information that you should know to start being literate in the wilderness. PKing is some of the most fun that I believe that you'll have in this game, and I really think that you should try it if you haven't before. I'm going to get into some incredible basic terms and conditions and things here just in case you didn't know. The term NHing is one of the most popular fighting methods. This directly translates to no honoring, meaning you can do whatever it takes to kill your opponent. This term is primarily used to imply that you will be using all 3 attack styles in a fight though. The term venging is another popular fighting method. People fighting using the Vengeance spell will typically pray Smite and not pray defensively. The objective is to find weaknesses in your opponent's offense and then take them down. This is almost exclusively done in melee fights, and it's the exclusive choice of bounty hunter fighting. The deeper north you go into the wilderness, the more combat levels you can be attacked by. Subtract the level that you're in against the combat level that you are for an idea of what players can hit you. The areas with 2 crossed swords in the bottom right, like this, are multi. You can hit multiple enemies, but you can also be hit by multiple enemies. Most teleports only work until level 20 wilderness. Dragonstone jewelry and some other special instances can teleport you up to 30 wilderness. Most importantly, if you attack a player unprovoked, you will get a skull above your head. If you die with the skull, you will lose all of your items. You can protect one of your items with the protect item prayer. If you retaliate against someone hitting you, you will not be skulled and will keep your 3 most expensive items or 4 with that prayer on. If you are nervous about getting skulled, go into your control settings and toggle the PK skull prevention option. If it's checked, you will not accidentally skull up yourself. Some plugins that I think are really helpful for the wilderness are player indicators, which I use to spot players a little bit easier, wilderness lines to see where multi is, and entity hider and player outline to hide my character so that I can see myself underneath players and see what they're doing both offensively and defensively. Another tip that I think is super important is how to escape a fight you no longer want to be a part of. I have a link to a video where I explain this a lot more in depth, and I will leave that in the description, but please make sure you look at that as a PVMer or a PKer. Now that's the incredible basics. Here's a gear setup that I use as a nice catch-all for PKing, but feel free to upgrade, downgrade, and change where you see fit. Let's get right into it. Lesson 1. For my PVMers out there, this is going to feel a little bit silly, but if you are able to confidently navigate a fight with a demonic gorilla, you possess most of the skills already able to handle a PvP fight. You want to pray against whatever they're going to hit you with, and you want to hit them whatever they're not praying against. It's a gigantic game of rapidly changing rock, paper, scissors. The only difference between gorillas and players is that you don't need to fake out a gorilla, as they are more choreographed. Take this clip here for instance. I'm giving this demonic gorilla the business while also moving around and trying to stay agile. Now take a look at this clip of me and Last Man Standing. It's a step down from the real wilderness, but it's still a controlled way of practicing, but still very reminiscent of demonic gorillas. Now take a look at this clip of me in the real wilderness. Did you see any real differences here? I think that demonics are the first great stepping stone into practicing your clicks for prayer, gear, and damage. If you find yourself comfortable, I think that you would easily be able to graduate to Lesson 2. Last Man Standing. Last Man Standing, for those of you who do not know, is a battle royale minigame with a focus on NHing until you're the last person left. You can't lose gear, supplies, or anything. You just lose self-esteem when you die. It's a great way to practice the defensive aspect of PKing without panicking too much about losing your stuff. Do be careful for the time in which you go to LMS because bots run rampant depending on the time of day you're in. I find that when the LMS world is in 580, it's an East Coast world, and anytime about 12 PM EST to 10 PM EST, you will usually find real players. Otherwise, you will run into a ton of bots. I would stay here until you've got a comfortable idea of where your prayers are and how your F keys work for you. Lesson 3. Black Chins. So now you're a big LMSer. You're pretty good at defense, but maybe struggling in terms of faking out your opponents and getting some real DPS in. Plus, you haven't really risked anything yet. Introducing Black Chins. Black Chins are located in about 33 wilderness, a little bit over the teleport line. This area is a super profitable place for skillers to train and make money. They're usually wearing incredible amounts of tank gear so that they can get out with their chinchompas. They very rarely fight you back. Grab some teleport block sacks and some entangles and head out there. As you're fighting them, you're going to quickly realize where your weaknesses are in killing random players. You may be letting people get too far away and letting them get gap. You may be very predictable and slow at gearing. You might be fumbling with food management or prayer or whatever it is. This is a safe way to find out where those weak areas are. Also, a little quick note, If your target is running away from you, as they will be in the following tips, cast an immobilization spell on them, either an Ice Barrage or an Entangle. If you get the Splash XP drop, immediately left-click on them. This will make your character try to melee them with your staff, effectively never letting them get too far away. When the spell cooldown is over, cast it again until they're frozen. Now you've got some offense, some defense skills, and now it's time to go out there and try some stuff. Lesson 4. The Wilderness Bosses. The Wildy Bosses are a great place to practice some low-stakes PKing. The single version variants of Arsho, Calvarion, and Spindle are great ways to balance doing great offense while still avoiding boss mechanics. You do need the medium wilderness diaries to access these bosses. In addition to that, players without hard diaries completed will have a delay of being unable to teleport out for 3 ticks. This is really just to combat bots who already have this requirement, but it might help you catch some extra players. The wilderness bosses have the added bonus and difficulties of helping you kill your opponent. Just make sure that you have a good idea of these bosses' attacks before you do this, or you may end up in more danger. You'll have to feel out what works for you here, but PKing here, a very common tactic for escapes, is to pretend to either enter or leave the cave to get that distance between the PKer and the victim. To avoid being fooled, between attacks, try to stand very close to the exits and entrances and see if they disappear, but never go first in anticipation. One more thing worth mentioning is that if you do have friends and are also interested in PKing, you would have a lot more fun heading up to the real variants of these bosses that are in multi. It's a lot higher stakes and better loot, but please be on the lookout for other teams. With added teammates, you can do a lot more DPS with very little gear. Welcome to the end! I'm tying the last lesson into 2 branches depending on where you'd like to end up. Lesson 5. The Revenant Caves. The cash cow of the wilderness and one of the highest paying jobs in Venezuela, the Revenant Caves. The Rev Caves are a huge system of caves in the wilderness that cost 100k to get into, so every kill will at minimum be 100k. There are many different areas of the cave, so familiarize yourself with all of them, but the 2 most popular ones are in the far most northeast part, where players are killing dragons and often anti-PKing, or safe spotting the Revenant Knight. When chasing players, please keep in mind that if they run directly east out of the caves, they are trying to take you to multi. Do they have friends? I'm not sure, but risk that at your own leisure. If you would like to bring teleport blocks, try to hold off using them until you approach the 30 line. Depending on how they run away, you also may need higher agility. The other popular spot is the Revenant Orcs. This is a popular place and it's below the 30 line, so you can teleport basically any time provided you have the right diaries. I am far more comfortable bringing my 500 mil risk here to ensure more damage, but I'm far too big of a wimp to do that up north. Please use your best judgment for anti-PKers. A good rule of thumb is I see how eager they are to fight me. Sometimes I'll splash a TB and they won't teleport. Now why is that? Oh, because they're here just to fight me. Also, some players will be modeled to be huge tank machines designed just to lure you out of the cave and take you to multi. Beware of that as well. Lesson 5, Part 2. World 304. If you're comfortable PKing and want to fight other players with some real risk behind it, head up to the Chaos Altar in World 304. The world sometimes changes, but it's usually 304 or 303 kind of area. When you're up here, you'll see a good mix of Vengeance Smite PKers and a lot of NHers. It's sort of a step up from a LMS, but more high risk. See what works for you and just be careful about being too close to the temple, otherwise you'll be in multi. Now this was a lot of information and I know that, and thank you so much for sticking with me. If you have any questions for tips and tricks, please ask them in the comments because I always reply, or join the Discord and ask there. I couldn't cover everything in this video, otherwise it would have been super long. In the description of this video I've attached a link to a video of me killing a player in each of the places mentioned above. It's a super long video, so please use the chapters. Until next time, subscribe if you want to, but I will see you next time. Goodbye.